Hey, what's up, Wix Nation? Welcome back to another video here in the WTF What the Funnel series on the Wix Training Academy channel, where we are helping you create your pretty and profitable lead generation website using Wix. My name is Sarah Michaels, and I am your hostess for this series. And in today's video, we're going to dive right in and go over how to create your sales letter page on your Wix website. I'm very excited to show you this. A lot of people think that you need to have, ClickFunnels or any of these other funnel building pages. And while those are great and you can absolutely connect those funnel building, websites to your site if you enjoy using them. But for some of you who maybe are getting started and you don't want to have that extra expense, or maybe you just didn't know how to create a sales letter funnel on Wix, we're going to show you how to do that. So if you have not yet already, be sure to go ahead, click the subscribe button and the little bell so that you get notified when the next video drops in the series, because you don't want to miss it. Because by the end of this, whether you are just getting started with your Wix site or whether you already have your Wix site and you are using some of our tips and tricks to optimize the template you currently have, you should come out of this series with a website that is set up to generate more leads and sales. Okay, are you ready? Let's dive in. So in the previous video, we talked about having that front page of your website optimized so that you have your lead magnet and your opt-in front and center and easily visible for your site visitors to see. Now, in this video right here, what I'm going to show you is how to build out this sales letter. Okay, so for example, in the sample site that we were looking at with Danielle here, she was a course creator, on her front page of her website, which is very clear. It has the entry-level points for her brand and business very easily identified. Anything that you click on is getting you into her list. It's getting you into that next step, which is walking you through her ascension process of her value ladder. So she has a very, very clear picture of her brand, which is one of the first things that we wanted you to do when you're going through this series. And you can see here in the bottom of her website, she has in the footer, register for my free masterclass. Now, some of you will just be having a basic opt-in and delivery system. And if you have that, that's fine. Where it's just like, hey, sign up, for this, and they opt into the Wix form, and then on the delivery page, like it just instantly goes. That's perfectly fine. But some of you are looking to set up a more advanced sales letter page. And so that's what we're going to cover in this section. So there are a couple of things to note when we're talking about a sales letter page. Number one, you want to make sure that you do not have the regular header and footer on this page. So again, you'll go into the menus and pages and select that page from the drop-down menu. And as you can see, I have this page tucked as a sub-menu item underneath of the home page that is hidden from the main menu. This does not have to be visible. Again, the reason for that is because we don't need a bunch of different options in the menu. The simpler, the better. Simple equals more conversions. Okay. So less is more when we're talking about lead generation and having a very clear flow or funnel for your site. So this is going to be hidden from the main menu. And then when we go into the settings, we're going to click on the layouts, and we're just going to select the no header and no footer option. So that's step number one. Step number two, and keep in mind, you can design your own sales letter page by just taking the framework for what we're going to give you here. So by all means, you do not have to create a page that looks like this. You can make it look however you want to, but just in general, this is going to be the framework for how you can set up a sales funnel page. So we took off, step number one, we took off the header and the footer. Step number two, I start with a blank canvas when I'm designing sales letter pages, because most of the templates on Wix are not designed for lead generation sales letter pages. They're just not. No offense, Wix, absolutely love you, but not sales letter pages. So the next thing that I did was I added a strip background to the blank page. Very simple to do. And if you remember, my favorites that I'm using all the time are these top 4. They're just the classic strips. So I selected an image, and then what I did was I put an image here. I'm pretending that I'm a fitness coach for the sake of this series. I'm not, but we're going to pretend, okay? So I selected an image background. I went to the settings. So when I click on that, I went to the settings, and if you've been around the block before, you know what I've done. I have done a dark overlay, and then I've changed the image transparency just a little bit. I adjusted this percentage. I like it to be a little bit darker so that the image pops, so you can see the difference there. This doesn't look bad either, actually. I'm gonna leave that. I kind of like that. Okay. So there we go. If you want to add some fancy scroll effects in case someone's coming to a desktop, you can go ahead and do something like the parallax or the reveal. These are my 2 favorite ones, these top 2 right here. So that'll look like if someone's coming on the desktop and you have this box over the top. So that's the first thing that we did, was we added in the strip background. Now the second thing is going to be to add in a box, and that's what I did. I added a box. So I went into the elements and I added in the box. Okay. Very, very easy to do. And then the next thing that you can see. So once you have the box, you're going to need a couple things. Number 1, a very mini title, just saying what it is. Okay. So this is my free masterclass. Then you're going to need a title, and then a button, and then a very short description. Okay, so that is the framework for what's going to go on the top of your box. Now, the easiest thing to be able to add a standout title here is just add a button onto this. Okay, so you add a button that does not go anywhere. So you're never going to link to this button. It's just going to be a box. So there's one of my little hacks. The second thing is adding in a title. Now, as far as the text goes, one of my favorite fonts for creating funnels is it should be easy to read. You should have proper capitalization, and you should highlight and bolden some text that is relatable so it kind of stands out. Okay, so that's what we've done here. So when I went into edit the text, you can see that I'm using Avenir Light, and the bold ones are just Avenir regular in bold. And then as far as the character and the line spacing goes, it's on regular. And then if I wanted to go into line spacing and customize that, you can go in and adjust that down here. Okay, because we don't want it to be super, super squished together. We want it to be large and easily visible. Now, the next thing that I have added is another button, and this is the button that someone would click to go to that thing, that opt-in, whether that's the next page in your funnel. So you might have to have that done after this. If you're creating a course on Wix, if you're hosting the training on another page, or maybe you're linking to something else. It could be anything. Whatever your delivery system is, that's what this button is going to link to. But so when I add the buttons in, I'm going to show you my very favorite button for these instances is this one right here. And you can see that it's kind of got like a little bit of a gradient two-tone. That's my favorite because it stands out and it looks a little bit shiny. So that's the button that I would add there. And as you can see, I'm going to give you one of my design hacks here. Now, I say this when I'm talking about design hacking or funnel hacking. I am not talking about having no integrity and ripping off somebody else's complete design, all their text, all of the things. No way, Jose. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you can take ideas and inspiration and use their framework and make it your own. But please, in no way do not copy somebody's exact everything and their text and do all of it the same, because that is unethical. So just remember to be ethical when you are designing. All right. Because I know there's like a whole funnel hacker culture out there, but sometimes that's taken just a little bit too far. So let me give you one of my little design hacks though. So if you are on a site, and by the way, if you want to get ideas and inspirations for how to frame your funnel pages, just pay attention to some of the advertisements that you're being shown, some of the sales letters. You can save those and come back to them later and be like, oh, I really liked the layout on this sales page. I'm gonna save this ad to my collection, whether that's on Instagram or Facebook, and then you can pull it up on your desktop and you can get the layout idea for that. So that's just a little tip there. If you really like the color, so let's say that I was designing this and I'm like, okay, I need to use these colors, or maybe you need to get your own branding in there. I like the color pick eyedropper tool. It's a super cool tool that you can install from the Chrome marketplace directly to your Chrome tab here. And what this allows me to do is it allows me to grab specific colors. So whether that is, whether I wanted to grab blue, so you can see she's using blue and gold because she's wearing blue and gold here inside of this. So let's pretend that I'm building a funnel for her and I want to grab colors from the image that I'm using on the site. Well, I can hover over this and grab that specific color, and then I can go back to my funnel here and I can add that in there. Okay, so that's pretty neat, isn't it? So if I go to change strip background and go to the color and go all the way down to add a color, I could then put that specific color in. Okay, so that matches her shirt. I don't want to do that, but we're going to leave it how I had it. All right, so now the next portion, and when we're analyzing how a funnel sales letter looks, usually you have a box, an info box of some kind. Then it's going to go to your big picture promise statement, which in this case is just simply a strip with a text box over the top. I don't like that color. Let's fix that color. Let's see here. There we go. Okay, so it's going to have a text over the top, and then it's going to move into another strip. So I work a lot of the times when I'm designing with multiple different strips. Okay, so I do not design and add things directly to the page. And that way it makes it really easy when I am editing on mobile. Everything, when you're working with strips, it will just stack. So we have a strip here that I added. It's just a plain background strip. I have added some text here. So I grabbed this text right here. Remember, we want it to be congruent. So what I did was I copied this, pasted, and then I am just, this is going to be your big picture promise statement. So for her, it's time to build your work from anywhere business. Okay, so in this one, it might look like it's time to whatever it would be as a fitness coach. I'm not going to touch that right now. Now in this section or this strip is where you're going into, this is what you're going to learn how to do. That's the next strip. You're telling them this is what you're going to get from working with me. And if you are working here in Wix, one of the easiest ways to do that is to go into the list section and you can add this repeater in there. So this is one of the new features, and I love working with repeaters because it allows me to have a very congruent design and it's already done for me. And that way I don't have to try to keep everything even. So when you're working with sales letters pages, even is better. So as you can see on hers, she's just adding in text and then a checkbox on the side. That works too. You can do whatever it is that you feel like you want to do. So for example, if I were to be doing this, I would change the design and I would go in here and put change background, and I would do the color to match the one that it's already on. Okay. So that's what I would do. Or maybe even do like a very, where is that blue that we were using already? No, I would probably do this, maybe. Just make it pop just a little bit. Okay, so if I'm adding this in here, so you can see now I'm using complementing colors. It makes it super easy for my brain to be like, oh, okay. Now, the next thing I can do is I can go to manage items and I can go like this. I can delete all of these. And let's say I'm only going to do, that's on my eye. Let's say that I'm only going to do 3 items. So one of the things that you can do is you can copy. So if I like I've got the design down for this first item. So now I can just go in here and duplicate that, and then I can duplicate it again. And now I have 3 items. So this is where I'm going to be sharing. This is what you're going to learn how to do. A small title and then a text, title, text. Okay. And next I'm going to add in another button for this section. Okay, so this is where you're telling people this is what you're going to learn. Now, I just want to go in here again, and I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it. So you don't have to start from scratch when you're designing some of these elements. If you've done it once, you can just copy it and duplicate that further down on the page. So there is that other section. Now, oftentimes when you are talking about a sales letter page, you're also going to want to have a section where you introduce yourself. So that is what this section would be. You can use a strip background and it'll say, what is your name? And then this is the section where you stack your wins. So what are some of the results? What makes you qualified? That's where you're going to put all of that in this section right here. And then one of the last things that you're going to add into a sales letter page is a testimonials section. So that is very, very important for testimonials as far as that goes. So what we're going to do is go in again. We're going to add another strip in here. I'm just going to add a plain white strip. And as far as testimonials go, if you have screenshots from maybe a client text message, if you have a Facebook group or anything like that, that works really well because people can see like, oh, hey, this is somebody that actually said this. You can do testimonials in the form of, let's go in here to the list section. So if you go under the list section, you should notice, let's see if, can I find it? Okay, underneath of the strip section, yes, it was. So if you have images and testimonials, that's where you can find those as well. So you can add testimonials in from here. You can have, people's, if you've got like a couple of really solid testimonials or someone's got a video and they're allowing you to use the image, you can put these in there. I would do a testimonial section. Just please make sure that whatever you're doing, keep the branding and the font all consistent. Because one of the things that you can see when people are like creating their own sales letter pages is it starts to look like this, and they're just like grabbing elements and adding them in, and the branding isn't consistent. And so you're like, it just starts to look kind of cheap. So we don't want to do that. So we want you to be consistent with your branding, consistent with the testimonial section. So if you're going to add a testimonial section in, this is a really nice, clean looking testimonial section. I do love it. So as you can see, that would be a great addition to the page. Obviously, you would customize the background a little bit. There we go. So we'll move that up. And that's where I would just put on here, I would just say, again, I'm going to use my own trick here and copy and paste so that the font looks the same. And I'm going to attach that to this strip right here. Okay, and I would say testimonials. Or you could say client results. That's another one. That's another really good thing to say is like results. I like that term better. That's just a personal preference. You can use whatever term you prefer. All right, so then you have a results section. And then as you can see here, she has all these results. And then at the end, it's just, okay, more testimonials from people who have gotten the absolute best results in here. And then again, it's just the button on the bottom. All right. And then yes, she in her footer here. So she has the copyright down. So if I were designing a site, you would have to put that on your own. So you'd put that in the footer section. And again, just make sure that everything is consistent. And sometimes, you know what, if you don't have a bunch of testimonials, or you can just end it, like you could just end it right here. Like if you don't have people that have results yet, don't make up results, just leave this section off, and you could just put another strip in here with that, yes, I want to attend. Okay, so there are plenty of people who have done that, you don't have any results yet, but you're just like, hey, I can teach you this. And then once you start getting those testimonials, that's where you want to make sure that you're screenshotting them with permission from the person, of course, and saying, hey, do you mind if I use this? And then putting that on your site. And that is it. So once you have all of these in place, you have now just created your very own sales letter funnel page on your Wix website. Obviously, you would want to optimize it and make sure that it looked good on mobile. So that might take some like tweaking and adjusting. Make sure that you do that before you hit publish, and we can go back in and show you how to adjust that on the mobile. But for the most part, you have the structure in now to be able to have your own sales letter page here on Wix that you've created from scratch. So in an overview, what you're going to need is some kind of an info strip, a box that states what it is, a title. You're going to need the attendance button, and then the subtitle. You're going to want to put a big picture promise statement. This is where you're casting the vision for whatever you're doing. You're going to put the section in where you're showing this is what you're going to learn how to do. So however you want to deliver this, whether it's in a text list form or you're going to use a list from Wix, make sure you add this section into your website, an About You section, and then if you have them, testimonials. Okay, so once you have that done, your desktop sales letter page is complete. And in the next one, we can show you obviously how to move stuff around on a mobile and how to optimize it. If you have any questions regarding anything that we've talked about here today, please feel free to go ahead and pop it down in the comments, and we are more than happy to answer them as much as we can, whether that's in the comments or whether we create a separate video if there's something that wasn't covered here today. So thank you so much. If you have not yet already, be sure to click the subscribe button and the notifications. Leave a thumbs up if it was helpful. We do appreciate your feedback. Thank you for being here, and we will see you in the next video.